See, Rupert Lowe started a political party. I'm not so keen on this. I think we've got an issue here as to the old opposition to Labour has become a really big tent. And it's designed to defend itself like this, isn't it? The system we live in, where the opposition fragments. That's how it stays together. It's how it will always succeed. And even though you've had like a new generation of sort of political discourse and political activist politicians sort of emerge, you need a unifying figure against the system. If you want to, because Britain needs a political revolution, you see. And it's like, okay, what kind of shape will that take? And it's like, well, we need to purge the Labour Party from politics and scrap over what's left. What? Yeah, then we can actually see, because then we can have, once they're gone, their gatekeeping function disappears. See, I've got my own sort of strategic thinking about this country, and saving it or making it a more advanced place very quickly. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone who can think down the line, think down the history line, knows that once Labour have gone, right, then you can have an honest discussion about what this country's problems are. And it's taken so long for people to realise, hang on a minute, we need to just get rid of this gatekeeper class. We need to just strip them all of power. It's like as soon as the entertainment business, who are a massive part of politics and government, as soon as they see all their allies in government fall, it's like suddenly they'll fall with them, won't they? And it's like, then you'll get a load of, because you can't avoid this, you'll get then a load of competing alternative orders. People who, in essence, have paid the dues in a corrupt system who will then expect to step up. So you just get, you'll see an alternative form replace the other one. And it'll only be an alternative power because it shifts so slowly. And it's like they then become engrossed in that game, and real progress doesn't happen. Because the infighting that needs to happen will happen amongst the wrong people. But in the first instance, it's to achieve the step one in your political revolution, you have to get the Labour Party out of politics so new forces can emerge and have the actual conversation. That's it. We've got a stumbling block. We can't have an honest debate about climate change, can we? We've never been allowed to have one. If we were to be able to get rid of the Labour Party, we could immediately have one. Some small, big things could change that would revolutionise this country. Some small, big things. We could rest its future, because that's the thing, that these guys are all about the future, aren't they? We're building new cycle lanes because in the future, it's like, will it not be pissing with rain in the future? You seem to think yes, but you're building on cycle lanes to travel around because you're going to price us out of cars or ban them. And we'll all be on bicycles, and this will be a wetter town than it's ever been. And you'll have a population who'll start to suffer with all kinds of preventable illness, having been fucking riding bicycles in the pissing rain all winter. You'll go back to having guys in the 40s dying of fucking heart attacks. Fucking pneumonia. Seriously. You'll create a world of people a damp world full of people fucking whooping and coughing. Like they've got in China. Ha! Keep you fit, but also aggravate every fucking issue you've got. Yeah, get your bike out and tackle these fucking hills in the rain and the fucking snow and with the howling wind. So see how well you get on doing that. But they're always thinking of the future, and it's all they will do ridiculous things now, make silly decisions now. It's like by the time they really need those cycle lanes, there'll be nothing on the roads. They'll just use the fucking roads, won't they? Sorry. Yeah, what's this? Well, you've built this thing about 1 metre wide. It's like by the time it's of any use, they'll, you know, there won't be any cars by then, will there? At all. Where do you thinking go? And it's like, well, thinking goes towards what we can get funding for, what we can borrow on the never never. If we say it's green and environmental, they'll let us fucking spend all this money on our roads. So it's like, you've learned how to fiddle the green thing. Yeah, that's how we get things done. We say it's green. What a fucking world, man. What a fucking place. And it's like, we'll start to come off this at end. What do you mean? It's like, other countries at end just stop taking our money. You see, we've got a prime minister who goes around the world kissing ass because it's a matter if anyone really fancied pulling the plug on us, causing this country a problem, they could. Easy. This country's unfucking governed and not and has got absolutely no now with its government, no resistance to shocks because they're all narcs. No real resistance to shock, and will walk into a future they've already decided that's actually as uncertain for them as it is for everyone else. But they've already decided what's best. It's like this cannot go on forever. It's like the illusion that needs to end is this John Lennon fucking notion of the future. This imagine, this commie shit, this simplified thinking, this mismanagement, this having first world problems in a third world place. Got to stop. It's like, and you know, if you could, you know, find the right message to, you know, the right person to unify for this battle, right? For this, we got to get rid of the Labour Party, and then we can have the real war. Then we can have the real battle. You know, there's highly strategic reasons as to why once upon a time, not so long ago, I was allied with Mr. Galloway. If you were thinking about things like I do, you'd have come to realise, hey, that Labour Party's gone, right? The people still be here. Wouldn't you rather have it where your opposition was an Islamic political party? Wouldn't you rather, and it'd be straight out in front of you? It'd be, there it is, being what it is, representing itself, not having some Labour go-between gatekeeper representing the interests of a very few of them. Why not have a loud as you like, organised of the people who want to join it, thing like the Workers' Party, where there's nothing bloody woke about George and his lot. They don't entertain any of this. Oh, we don't bother with that identity politics bullshit. It didn't put any fucking food on the table, did it? You don't get moment one for it. They don't go for it at all. They're completely the Workers' Party are more unwoke or anti-woke than the Conservative Party. So they don't give a fuck. I'm just teach you something that's a piece of genius. I'll just teach you something real quick. See these? The large papers you can get for rolling, right? Right, smoke, and smoking's really expensive, right? If you use this kind of equipment, these filters and these, right? If you smoke these, right, you end up producing are using more of these, yeah? And you always throw a little bit of tobacco away when you put one of these out. You don't smoke the thing down to the cork where it's going to fucking burn your face off. You always fucking waste some, right? But if you use these, right, and roll a big one, you use a third as many of these, and your tobacco goes about 25% further. And, right, you can buy a year's supply of these for a tenner. And if you can cope with smoking this stuff from Europe, this very stuff, if you can cope with this, it's fucking everywhere. And this is only a little packet, this is only a 30 gram, but they're about £7 each. And if you string it out by smoking long smokes, right, I get a week out of one of them. Economy tips. I get too much enjoyment out of smoking not to be a smoker. That tobacco is so everywhere. I just have a couple of mates, or usually family. I've got a brother-in-law who goes away on business a lot, goes to Europe, goes all over the place, and goes on holiday quite a bit as well. And he's got a photograph of me tobacco in his phone. Yep. If he sees it right in front of him, he's like, shall I get you one? 80 quid, 80 euros for 10 usually. You can do better than that though. I'm like, yeah, pick them up. Why? Well, if in buying tobacco in this country, my simple habit of smoking, not a luxury thing, just a habit, is a minor luxury. A poor man's a luxury, or a poor man's support, comfort, if you like. Cost me 45 quid a week. 45 quid a week, and it's like, yeah, and I do it for a tenner. A tenner. And it's like, isn't it like killing you? It's like, everything's killing me, kid. This is the least of me fucking worries. You know what I mean? It's like the pumping station will pack up long before the fucking pipes do. The pumping station is fucked. The pumping station never works properly, ever. I've lost my mouse. It's bounced. That's not it. Oh well, a mystery for later. But it's like, as long as people don't seem to realise that a lot's got to happen in this country, right? They don't know who their fucking allies are. And Labour that will just throw, they don't give a fuck about their own reputation anymore. Or if they ever had one that wasn't just a pack of fucking lies. They'll just throw shit in every direction. They would like to say weaponise their own, they want to just inflame now their old client vote. They want to inflame it. So there's a lot of pandering going on in media about the old, they always think London-centric as to their ethnic bases. So you're seeing a lot of the Kang stuff find its way out. You're seeing a lot of, they're going back to the very basics of my racist and my sexist, because that's the best method they've got of building up adrenaline as much as anything else in the core activist support. So you're seeing racist, sexist, right? There's a big scandal of last week with Epstein. The more you look into that, the more it's like, how the fuck can these people fucking still being a job being associated with all this shit knowingly and having covered it up. It's like, how the fuck? So they've had to get rid of that. They had to brass it out quickly. They had to name the scapegoats and immediately forget them. And now they've brassed it out. So to brass it out and get it out of people's imaginations, they need adrenaline. So it's like, what do they need? So they've at the same time embarked on a feminist campaign and a anti-racist campaign deliberately. Like, right to the media guys, here's your dossiers of what we're doing. Oh, we're going back to the old heartbeat drum. Yeah, we're going back to the heartbeat drum. We're going to try and change the subject and make it all about the poor women and the poor girls and the poor black people, because it always works. Now, it's like the COVID long lockdown and then the social media side of it, the real people who think they can manipulate people's emotions and thoughts and feelings, the commies, got into power and they got to endlessly experiment using X, didn't they, during the lockdown? Endlessly experiment. And I think they think that they can manipulate the interested audience for first to tire them out and get them sick of something, and then re-establish their fundamental or core programming, right? They get sideswiped by what the fuck's going on with all these pedos and the Epstein thing, and then by their reckoning, right, they need to then get them back on track by reaffirming their core validation and principle. So doing a 2-week campaign of everyone's racist and everyone's sexist, in essence, blanks the memories and puts them on a different path. And it wouldn't, you might think this sounds absurd, but those people who live in emotional sort of roller coaster ride, they soon get tired and they soon get distracted. They've only got so much energy, and they've worked out that the large numbers are the ones that have got who they've to fear, who've got large followings. A lot of the large followings come from the fact that they're scatterbrained fucking cunts anyway. So all you have to do is you have to make it so the influencers shut up and move on to the next thing. So what do you feed them? Oh, rage bait. And they fall for it just in the same way. They become offended by it. It's like, oh, what the fuck, this old chestnut. That has a demoralising effect. It's not doing you any good hearing that shit again for the 1000th time when 2015 propaganda hits you again. And you're like, oh, this fucking terrible despair that we're in. The poor women and the domestic violence and those horrible men. They crave a return to what they know they're turfs, oversimplified concepts that don't stand up to scrutiny, but everyone can feel it. We've all got mothers and sisters, and find yourself having a dirty big row with someone who's a self-professed witch, and the thing she'll always reach for is, you wouldn't talk to your mother like that, would you? Like, no, I wouldn't. She isn't a cunt. We have to go back to that, because in that, if they can make the arena more about that, about mum knows best, right? If they can return the discourse to that, they think they can reconquer the narrative. It's not going to work, but they think it will, and it will work on the people that those kind of tricks work on. So it's like the Labour Party is steering the, in essence, flock, or those who they're in the media friends have got the ability to control, into terrible danger. Terrible danger, as far as you ask me. They're asking some of the best people in the world and probably the most devout, there's something got to be done about. It's just all misdirected. It's all in the wrong direction. It's all based on lies, based on one's own, associations one makes. I'm turning up to stand up to racism. Why? Well, I've experienced bullying. They told me that my, so what are you here for? Somebody picked on you. So let's talk about that. Let's not say, and it was one of these kinds of people who did it. Ask any of them fucking twats to expand on why they're here, other than this seems the right cause. You'll often find that they have many of the same sensibilities as you. They've turned up to see the enemy, haven't they? They've turned up to see the boogeyman, and they're very desperately disappointed when they don't find him. So, in essence, you've got a group of people in our society who are hammers looking for nails. And there's an industry, isn't it? The nail industry. Hammers going around wanting to punish all kinds of misdeed. And often many of them on a personal mission to get revenge, and working as a school teacher. It's like this society that we've got is that broken as to say activists miseducating kids are like, these fuckers will vote Labour in future. They'll save the world. They'll save the world from climate change. These kids I'm scaring to death with tales that we're all going to die in a big flood. That you've been born on a dead planet. There's a lot of work to do. Whoever's able to, at the minute, I don't know, because you see, the Blairite tactic here, right? Because you understand that the nature of the beast you're up against will be to paint a nightmarish future without the Labour Party. If you think this is bad, these guys will be worse, 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 worse. When, wow, they got themselves into power in the last election by pointing to a corrupt and inept government and promising to be everything but turning out to be much, much worse, because they were the same creatures saying what they needed to win, not what they needed to say in order to win, and they didn't care if it was true or not. Well, now there's all the narrative will now become. Do you think? You know, the narrative has to be. It's like, do you think we're bad? Well, these guys are going to be much, much worse. You think it's bad now, but if you vote reform, you're going to get much, much worse. And they'll go on as to say people be getting rounded up. You know why they're allowed to say that people will be getting rounded up? It's because there's no cohesive, and this is deliberate, there's no cohesive or even well-informed policy as to how or who gets turfed out of the country. And they're deliberately doing it the right. Because, say, sat from here, see, I'm Rochdale, so what do I do as a two-phase plan? You met friends with George Galloway. What? Yes, because you see, those Rochdale sort of Pakistani community pillars and elders and the like, well, the guys who are going to probably be the next generation of those guys aren't like the guys who are currently the leaders and elders of the Rochdale Pakistani community. And eventually those old guys will die off, or they'll be discredited, step aside, health problems, and the guys who will step in to replace them are a lot more sensible. A lot more sensible. So I understand it's like in my local town there will be a power shift, and the power shift will go towards the organised Muslim politicians who are finally thinking and speaking for themselves. And it'd be brilliant, because it's so much better than what the fucking Labour Party are. So much better. So it's like there is improvements. Certainly in Rochdale, there is an improved situation getting a Workers' Party candidate in than and getting a Labour Party one out. You've actually helped the situation there. That's more towards getting rid of the Labour Party. It is. It's more towards. It's more in the direction of. But it's like the immigration thing. It's like to the voters, right, who vote for the Workers' Party, and I mean Rochdale Pakistanis, who the Labour Party would like to have believe their nearest and dearest are going to be deported, right? Truth is, those people are never fucking leaving, right? Because they own the place. They own property. They've got a stake in it. They've got property rights. To remove their property rights and citizenship would be the end of our property rights and citizenship as well. The country that was left behind after you'd pulled something like that off wouldn't be a country at all. You'd have sacrificed every right that people have died for up against tyrants and kings. By then you'd have, in betraying those people, you'd have destroyed the country and every fibre of its decency and existence. And I mean it. But you can go and have a word with, say, Imtiaz, big guy, Workers' Party. Go and have a word with Imtiaz Ahmed. He's a good guy. He's a smart lad, and he listens. He's not the smartest in the world. He's not, but by way of going back in time, he sits there talking to Galloway, and he's like, wow, this guy can talk. And it's because he doesn't know so much, and Galloway can tell a million stories and go all historical on your ass. So it's like he's someone who listens, he's someone who learns, but he's also someone who knows the value of turning up. Right? Also, he's a magistrate round here now. He's a magistrate, Imtiaz. And it's like if you were a wrong'un, let's say, a bit of a roughen, and you ended up in front of a magistrate in Rochdale, it's like, if you got up in front of Imtiaz, I'm sure he'd give you a fair shake, actually. He's one who likes to be seen to be doing the right thing, you know. He's a Muslim guy who does the praying and the fasting and takes it real serious. He's not so much he's not a scholar, let's say, of Islam. He doesn't preach. He tries to lead by example. I like him, actually, Imtiaz. Not a bad guy. And it's like, if he's to become in the future one of the power brokers in this town, it's like a not Labour Party. It's like, that's something, that's more than what we've got. That's more than what we've got. And it's like, you're not deporting him. It's like, well, he's just worth too much to the economy. Man might make £500,000 a year. As businesses that you can go and look at, and yeah, this is a real business. So it's like, go to him and say, I can go to him and talk about the situation in this country with immigration, and me and him can actually see eye to eye and say, yeah, that's what we need to do. That's the best way of dealing with it. I can have a conversation with him about immigration. He's like, yeah, I'm 100% on board with you. Not that I've got the best plan, right? But you can find common ground on immigration with the Workers' Party of Great Britain, and they are a 90% Muslim political party led by George, who's a socialist. He's kind of a man. He's got a foot in both worlds. George, too busy, too much going on. And fucking wrong about so many things. Well, certainly a fighter, scrapper, brave. It's like, what are you left with? It's like if that's a list of what you can do and what your strengths and weaknesses are, it's like, yeah, George, fair enough. Yeah, he's valuable. Am I? But I'm looking at it, and it's like you need to have properly defined. Like this is what we mean to do. There's people we like out of the country, and these are they, right? And make it plain, draw the line, have the conversation now, make it real simple and straightforward. As to say, if you're in this country on an overstayed visa, you're gone, right? First of all, if you entered this country illegally, you're gone. If you've entered this country illegally within the illegal system, so they've put you in a hotel, your case gets expedited and you don't get the right to appeal. We don't give you access to like legal aid to the tune that they are now, and you don't get an appeal. A decision's made and you're gone. So it's like the genuine ones who can turn up with paperwork and make a bloody case will still get in. You know, the actual like people who are literally looking for asylum on their own, who've got a reason to be there, right, if they can make a super case, they still get out. Otherwise, one hearing, out of the country, gone. But if you didn't go through that process of them finding out who the fuck you are, writing your name down, you're staying in the detention centre and hotel, and then if you didn't go through that process, just the fuck out. Because it's like, for how many they suss out and pick up, hundreds get in that don't trouble the guys at the government who are waiting with a cup of coffee for them and a bloody high-vis jacket to put on. The ones who evade them just disappear straight into our economy. It's like you catch those guys and they're fucking gone. But they're going to be the most difficult ones to fucking catch. But it'd be a matter of if you catch criminals and that's their status, they go straight on a plane. Straight on a plane. It's not literally straight on a plane, but you know what I mean, don't you? Ascertain where this guy's already a fucking fugitive. Ascertain who might already have some arrest warrants out on this guy and be like, found one of yours. We are not, our taxpayers are not paying for your scum. Put him in your fucking prisons. Get back with that. We're sending you send your criminals back, all of them. Your criminals are going back. And it's like, there you go. What? Yeah, well, you fucking mean it. And it's like, he goes as far as, right, Rupert Lowe. People who have lived here, haven't assimilated, and have got this allowed to stay, but they don't do fuck all. Send them back. It's like, you got to draw a line somewhere there. What? It's like, yeah, you think you'll be able to send back to Pakistan some like old women and quite fucking useless people who sit around. People who live on benefits, right, they do not live the life of Riley like some people like to think. I know nowadays because I'm on benefits to the same tune as they'll be seeing. And it's like, this ain't no life. It's like, I can afford to keep me eating on, but I can't do much else. If I had to run a car, I'd be dead. So it's not a life you'd want. If you can live that subsistence existence. But the serious issue we got in this country is with basically the NHS can never collapse. Is a problem. It's failed and long since failed and in failure, but that only ever manifests in that everyone still turns up for a job and gets paid and the fucking, keeps moving, keeps rolling even though it's collapsed. That just manifests in it taking you another 2 weeks longer to get an appointment. I made an appointment last week. I need a blood test and a follow-up with a doctor, right? For a blood test, I'm now waiting 5 weeks for him to take a blood test. Now, a nurse can do that. It's not, but say they're not just hanging on trees, are they? But it's not a job for a doctor anyway. And it's like, if March, I'm like, what? Mid-March? To have a blood test? Yeah. And then another 2 weeks to see doctor. Oh. Now, realistically, it's like the NHS of 1995, right? The blood test that have said just drop into it, because they've got different systems. The NHS, depending on who the blood test's for, right? If it's for my specialist or anyone within the hospital system, right? I can just, when they say they want a blood sample, I can just say, okay, I'll turn up, and I can turn up at any one of their hospitals and go to the blood room and take a ticket and just wait, and then go in that room and hand over the ticket, right? And they go, okay, what's your date of birth? What's your name? Whack, medical files, ding. Okay, right, and right, there's a label there. I printed off. It says what test it wants. I'm just taking the blood. Put the label on, goes to the labs. Automated pretty much. And I sit down and she takes a bit of my blood, and then she either butchers me. They're like snipers. Some of them are incredibly good at it. And it's not, some of them are good, and then others are consistent, but you get some that are just fucking amazing at taking blood out of people. They're like, got a right eye for it. So you get it sometimes where if you've been doing it a lot, right, they struggle to, because often you find yourself in hospital, you end up doing it quite a bit, and they're struggling to find a vein for it. Or I have issues with bruising because the meds I'm on, so they'll go for a different arm and stuff, and you get it where no, struggling to find that, and then I'll go and get my mate, and then it's like they go and send for some fucking mercenary sniper who comes in like, yeah, I'll get that. It's like some amongst them are like fucking vampires who've got this skill for it, who can like almost sniff it out, and they're stick you. Last one who got me left me a fucking bruise the size of a ping pong ball, and a wound that, in the end, the bandage was completely red because I bleed too much now because of all the meds. So it's like she fucking proper nicked me, that bitch. Hit and miss. But if it was for hospital treatment, I could just walk in and give the blood sample, and they test it, and it just end up on the computer system in days. You go through your GP. I got to wait 5 weeks for a fucking blood test. It's like, wouldn't you think, with them all being on this integrated NHS system, I could just use? No, we don't do that. Couldn't I just use the one at the infirmary? Can I just go to the infirmary and just give some blood, and we'll make an appointment sooner? Because it's only really an appointment for a phone call where the guy's going to actually just look at the results. It's only the appointment's only walking it through the system so it doesn't get ignored. You have to walk things through the system, like it's an insurance claim with the NHS. If you don't do it, it don't get done. You have to do it yourself. So, yeah. Why can't I go to the infirmary and just use theirs? It's to do with billing, internal billing. No, it comes out of a different budget. Damn. It comes out of a different budget. Damn. So there's a massive bottleneck in the system. It's just one of many. Comes out of a different budget. It's costed differently. Okay. So you've got a massive capacity, because they've got like legendary massive capacity to do blood test labs now in hospitals. Very, very good. Depending how long the test takes that they're doing, on the ball, rapid, and if it's something that they can test in minutes, they test it in minutes. They're very good at it. You've got all that capacity, and instead you've got it where, well, we send our stuff to the same lab, but a different. It's paid for by a kitty that comes out of the GPs and not from the central. Well, fuck me. And is that a bottleneck that can be solved? Oh well, who knows who's going to make that decision? No one's even thought about it. As to the NHS has integrated a lot of technology, but it could be better, really better. It's like it's always a work in progress and always has been. It's where people have badly attacked the NHS for the billions spent on IT, thinking that kind of spending ever ends. You know, you buy a computer and it's like, oh, this solves all your problems. No, it doesn't. You end up needing more gear. And that's been the thing with the NHS and its relationship with the technology industries that rip them the fuck off. But in some ways, because they've kept having to reformat to be more useful to phones and phone users, well, all the old people use phones better than I do. I know me way around a PC aware that they can't even conceive, but they're better at phone apps than me. So it's like the NHS is now, as much as they can, automated. But, right, you're going to hit with automation and the NHS unsackable people in very menial jobs that can easily be replaced with AI. And they won't be losing their jobs because of their very strong public sector unions. So you've got a resistance in in the built into the NHS to real integration of technology. I'd say that doctors and nurses having access to Google and the internet all day, right, has saved lives. Mega, like lots. The best medical innovation yet is all of Google, the internet now having all of the relevant medical information that they require. It's like they can, and they've also got access to some like professional databases as well on there, some professional tools as well. But just straight up Google, something happens, whack. The upgrade that is Grok or else, this Gemini, there'd be big leaps forward for them as well, for the nurses, that something's happened or what to anticipate when you try. You get sometimes where they get asked to do something they've not tried before that they know in concept but don't really understand. AI tools for doctors and nurses can be fucking awesome, like really, really good, because to some degree you've got access to all of the medical expertise in the world, haven't you? There, you don't need to ask somebody who might not know. You can ask something that definitely will. So it's like the National Health Service can become something that's altogether different. You know what I mean? Altogether different. But say there's a level of resistance too, built into it, to technological innovation where they'll cherry pick bits of it. But it's all like stacked because it's all been. They're probably back there. I wouldn't want to make a real estimation, but most of their kit would be for a concept to go from we're planning to do this to actually roll and get out. Once upon a time in the old IT industry, it might be a 5-year plan to get to somewhere. I think what would constitute the old IT 5-year plan now constitutes the IT plan for a month. So it's like you can ramp things up. You can. It's like the economy of scale elements of apps and computers. It's like they can put half them out of business if they want. They can send the fuckers home. It's like there's so many, right, log jams in the internet with poor human components or human components being asked to work between systems that are no longer necessary. And they'll do everything they can to fight to keep those jobs because they're the best jobs in the they're the best jobs in the town here, you know, for working class people. The best possible job you can have is to get your full service in, working for the NHS and get a fucking super pension from it. That's the best you can do. So they're great jobs to have. The best victories for guys my age who are parents who have daughters. The best results you ever see of how the daughters have ended up is gone to college, got qualified, NHS physiotherapist, or else nurse, or else it's like because they are not glorious jobs, but they're interesting jobs. In weirdly fulfilling. And they're also jobs where you know you're always going to be looked after. You're always going to, your wages are always going to be all right. They always complain, but they're all single women with boyfriends and little flats to live in who drive around in Audis, and they'll be like, oh, you could do with paying us a bit more. It's like you paramedic guys, it's like those guys get to about age 24 or 25 and bang, they're on fucking megabucks and they're like, I don't know what to do with all this money I've got, and they're like little kids with it. You've got to be careful, right, when you let someone like me infiltrate a hospital for a week or so. I'm telling you. I've had the song and dance chapter and verse from a lot of people. I had a guy who had a stroke. Because of ward I got put on because I were in that acute, people who are fucked up ward. I had a conversation with a guy for about 4 hours, and he just had a stroke. So it's like, do you want to be really helpful to us with these guys? If they've come in with a stroke, it's like they're a bit disorientated. You mind just talking to them? You can do us, you can help us by we haven't got people who we can just have keeping an eye on these guys. Can you just keep an eye on this guy? Can you just talk to him? Get his brain going again. Fucking hell. So I was sat with a guy who he were old boy, about 90. A big lad though. You could see big, big fit lad, or had been. And he said after the war, he became a professional footballer. He played for Wolverhampton Wanderers. He played for Bolton, and they're settled up here. Proper lad. Yeah. Done all sorts, done all kinds of things, but he'd been a professional footballer before it really paid lots of money. Played as a centre-back. And he was signed out of the army, which must have been a thing, actually. There'd have been a massive football. When the war ended and football started again, there'd have been a massive, wouldn't there, free-for-all. All the clubs signing all the best players out of the army. Because they'd just go to the army, wouldn't they, and say, right, lads, who are your best footballers? And the army already knows. The army's already got every battalion's got a football team already. These are the best ones. These are the best ones. Yeah, we know that. We know. We play a lot of football. These are the best guys. And he got talking about that process. It was fun. What a cracking conversation that was. And it's like, this guy he was on like fucking, he's had a stroke, right? We've given him the meds, but we have to just keep an eye on him to see that it's not going to lead to something else and he's not going to be rough. So it's like there were one or two of them I spoke to, and I went and when I left hospital, because I had to go back once or twice, I went knowing they'd still be in there because these guys were fucked, they were in deep shit. They needed a lot doing, and like they weren't coming home. And it was like I sussed out what newspaper they like, because old people still read newspapers. What newspapers they liked, and brought a copy of a paper for a couple of guys when I came back. Yeah, I got your paper. Are you all right? and you know, old boy you've been talking to's telling you, I'm not getting out of here. It's brain cancer. Sorry, pal. But you know what the best thing about that was, right? Looks like the best crack to have in hospital is to be on the stroke ward. What? Get a game of cards going there. More of a focus towards like day rooms so people can be watched by each other. And most of them are just lads, you know, there are no crazies there. It's just lads who've had a fucking stroke. So it's like that isn't, it's not the end like it once was. They can do a lot for that. So it's like you go to the stroke ward and you're like, oh, it's miles better in here. It's like you get a game of cards going. So when you go and see these old boys who've been moved out to the acute care into the stroke ward, it's like in some ways they're in good company. It can have the atmosphere of they rebuild the atmosphere of the old pub where there's banter and a game of cards going. So it's like that's one of the, what. So when you say it's like when you someone because he wasn't coming out of hospital. It's like no, it's like stroke he come in with sign of something bigger, and it being nothing but now a path to just degeneration down to every time he has a stroke he loses a little bit more of his functionality, that kind of thing. But say Ingle Company, and they're when they get they get confused. They get people like in hospital with stroke. You got to stop them from getting confused. Stop them from getting frightened because they get really scared, really scared. And it's like you've got to keep reassuring them, like, yeah, you stay with me, pal. You know, keep telling us the story. So it's like in amongst it, you know, like the hospitals and the systems of the NHS, in amongst themselves work as well as they can, but they've got problems with. They all know it's a shit show. They've been told, they just accept it. They don't try and defend it. That's a problem. A lack of sort of pride in it, but you know it's there, but it's just. It's almost it's just a black sense of humour now. But it's like what you see is right. They'll say the NHS is collapsing. It's not. It's just it's waiting lists just getting longer and longer and longer, and its waiting lists hide all its failures, kick them all down the road. So if you get it where I'm waiting like 5 weeks for a blood test, where are we at? Shit straight. And it's like what's the killer? And it's like numbers. It's like not many countries in the world have what the NHS has, and in most, I'm sorry to say it, we're in most places in the world. If you get something that's wrong with you that needs advanced medicine to be able to diagnose and treat, you're gonna die. Or if you haven't got the money to spend, you have to pay for it. You're gonna die. Now we don't have to really worry about that in this country because by way of sort of advanced medical practices and things like that, and the gear we've got. Take it from me, I've been, right? Our hospitals, NHS, is state of the art, right? It's state of the art. They know what they're doing. But since I've been in the care pretty much now for nearly 2.5 years, if I was to add together all the moments of time that the personnel had dealt with me, you know what I mean, or even been operated on, probably only come to a few hours. That's how rationed they are. The rationing of care in the NHS is like, wow. Say purely numbers, it's like a sausage machine. And it can still keep chunnering away, smashing up sausages, just smashing up meat and creating sausages forever. It's just the queue gets longer and longer and longer, and it can never fucking collapse. And those who work within it know, as if it's a religion, that they've got an endless supply of work no matter what happens. Endless supply of work. And the illusion to them is that the place is always crazy and mowed out, because it is. And it's always overloaded, and it's always at the edge of its resources, because it is. It's like a controlled nuclear reaction it might seem like a dangerous thing, but it ain't ever blowing up. Never. Because all that ever happens is, when it does blow up, is all the appointments get delayed a bit more. The waiting lists become longer. It's like money pit. Wow. It's like you could. This has always been my objection, and still my objection to this day. I'll give to absolutely anyone who wants to be for pro-immigration, or pro like mass immigration, where people can just kind of find the way in. And my answer to it is, you've got a lot of people in the world who've got invisible illnesses that are incurable, psychologically smashed, damaged, or else serious problems that take complicated, as I've mentioned, complicated equipment to solve. It's like those resources. I'd say one very dangerous schizophrenic person who a country would like to be rid of, because the person would fuck up their prisons, right? This is where it gets fucking bad. If you've got a human being so destructive that he will fuck up your prisons, but you haven't got the heart nor the legal means to just kill the guy, send him to a country that's got a benefit system and healthcare, and they'll look after him, and he be gobbled up, seen as a source of work by the state that doesn't fucking operate in the real world. But the reality of it be that guy consume millions of pounds worth of care. Millions. It's like if I was the ruler of a foreign country who wanted to see the end of Britain, right? Say I beefed with Britain, and I decided, fuck those guys, I fuck this country, I beefed with them for one reason or another, decided I wanted to screw the government over, right? I'd start sending them fucking scumbags, wouldn't you? That's what I'd do. I'm not a vindictive person, but I can come up with ideas to cause as much damage as possible. And the best thing I could think of that wouldn't be illegal, where you could just do constant damage to this country to destroy it, would be to send incurable mental patients there from all over the world, and just dump them all in the place and say, deal with that. That's what I'd do. And it's what every other fucking kind of, if you like, walkish, or the walkish, the ones who take advantage of it. The walkish nations, the Africans and the like, Eastern Europeans. We are their dumping ground. And our government, when you complain about it, saying other countries are dumping their fucking toxic human waste on us, they say, you can't talk like that, that's racist. But no, it's like, has this country got enemies in the world? Well, yes, and for what reasons? All kind of reasons. They keep making up new reasons every day. Have they got a motive as to why they want to see this country struggle, fail, go through some kind of tribulation? Every reason in the world. So why wouldn't they send us all their incurable nutcases? Why wouldn't they send all the fucking juju devil worshipper fucking nutters to? Why wouldn't they turn this country into the largest concentration of insane people? And that be the nature of how we would be brought down. It's like, do you not think that like the globalist Islamic forces of this world and the like aren't that smart? They fucking are. And that you don't have to be well funded for that. It's like invasion. Yeah, every bit, but it's not a military invasion. It's a cost invasion. It's a waste of resources. A waste of resources invasion. It's what I'd do. As a side thing as to before that, the concept of doing that is something I really think about. Is an old game we used to play that was a modification of Sins of a Solar Empire made to be Star Trek, and it was very, very difficult to beat the Borg. They were just devastating. You could try anything, and whatever you did, it worked for a bit, but eventually the bastards would wear you down. You'd always lose more than you gained fighting the Borg, and it's like, how do we defeat these guys? Now, the only thing available, the only thing I could think of as to how to exploit that enemy was the game's command limit, as to you can only have so many ships. And instead of building warships, I started to build unarmed envoy shuttles, hundreds of them, and then sent them into battle with the Borg for them to be destroyed or assimilated. So I sent them a load of fucking useless people, and in the end it crippled their ability to build ships, and all they had in the end was the odd nasty Borg ship which you could concentrate on, and hundreds of ships that couldn't shoot. It's like, that's how you beat a superior enemy. That's how you do it. That's the optimal plan. You beat an unbeatable enemy by dumping all your fucking useless people on him, for him to feed, for him to clothe, for him to treat. It's like, this is how to do war and get away with doing war, right? And then you have a horse nation like Britain, and you get people mouthing off about how this is a bad thing, and they'll call you racist and right wing, and they'll defend the tough, defend this that's going on. It's like you've got an inside man and an outside man, and they're pulling off a job between them. The Labour Party in our country is an inside man for every fucking malicious foreign actor in the world. All of them. They do whatever they want, and the Labour Party says, shut up, that's racist. They do whatever they like, and the Labour Party defends them. You see why they've got to go before anything happens? And there needs to be one big push to get rid of them, and then we try to sort out what's left. The structure would still exist. There'd still be MPs, still be all that, be there. People still be driving on the roads, wouldn't be? Wouldn't be any queues at shops or panics, unless, our globalist friends out in the world decided to cause one, or drag us into a ridiculous war that's going to be a quagmire that we can say we're fighting and never win. To stop whatever the political revolution looks like when it finally metastasizes into something that's cohesive. Yeah, get rid of all the criminals, right on, bang. Get all the ones saying, it's like, but considering the moment for the real world, it's like, yeah, you'll hear it said that it's come out quite a bit in the old stats recently that the old Pakistan population of Britain, that 33% have never worked. Yeah, that'll be the women. They don't send the women to work. That'll be the women. They should always say that. It's like, this is not a great big economically inactive blob. It's very economically active, but the women don't go to work if they can afford not to. They make it a priority that's right up there, that mother doesn't have to work. And if you ask them why, it's like, we like to keep her sweet and the home sacred. What? Well, yeah, that's a thing. Your mum might actually make you something nice for your tea if she's got a couple of hours to burn. She might even think about cooking something that's really complex for your tea because it cooks in 3 stages and something like that. The old wizardry of Indian cooking, that kind of cuisine is the trick of it is the guy who made it got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to start making it, and you're eating it at midnight. That's the trick of it. Now, if you want that, if you've got that going on in your household, it's like that's a mission on its own. A manager, or a good home manager, which is what I see in real. You can say, John, you're being sexist. It's like, no. It's like I've been in supermarkets and see Pakistani women buying like sacks of rice. They're like, yeah, it doesn't make no sense for me to buy a sack of rice. It makes all the sense in the world to her. It's like where Anderson said, you can eat for 70p a meal or something like that. They can. It's like, what does that take? Preparation. What does that take? A lot of energy, a lot of time. But, the thing is, amongst that group of crafters, you'll find women who can knock up bloody couple of 100 samosas in a day. And if you see how tricky they are to make, there's a real knack and skill to it. And if you've got it, you can just blast them out one after the next. Whereas me and you'd be like 15 minutes making one. It's like they're a little bit disingenuous how they speak about. They said that they basically their understanding of the group of people that they've decided to paint in a certain light. It's unsophisticated and therefore not effective, not effectual. It's like they're like Rupert Lowe's a lot. It's like we're about the truth and all this shit. It's like, well, how about a first shake? And an actual making up of an actual plan and policy for this immigration thing where there's lines drawn so these people know where they stand. If they knew where they stood, they'd support you because they're in the same NHS waiting list as I am. They face exactly the same economic pressures that I do as well. Live in exactly the same fucked up culture and system as we do. Get ripped off the same. So it's like they're asked about that. It's like there's common ground to be found, but you're not even going looking for it. And that's how to get beaten. Certainly in the northwest of England. So it's an important battleground in winning this country. Now that it's no longer a Labour safe zone and it's there to be won, it's really important. Rochdale's a bellwether in a load of ways for where the Labour Party sits and stands or whatever. It is. Because here they're organised, here they're as clannish as they can be. In here they know they need 50% now. They know they need, from last election, they know they need 50% of the Rochdale Pakistani population to win. Because 50% didn't vote for him last time, voted for George. But they changed the boundaries of the town, looks like they've done in Denton and Gorton, to remove a very poor part of the town out of the town and move it into another poor constituency and leave Rochdale half a poor town in the same areas as sort of more leafy villages and things. So they deliberately moved the majority around. So it's like last time round, there was 26,000 people who couldn't vote for George Galloway that would have done otherwise. What, John? How many? Oh, aye. Failing Scotland. He had that absolutely fucking stitched. And that's a massive part of Rochdale that got moved out. Massive. That's how many registered voters there were. I'm saying he'd get them all. No, he'd have got probably half of them. He'd have done better there than anyone else. That'd have sent him right over. But boundary changes that had already been arranged before the election or before he even came along, had made moves to make sure that Middleton could never be Conservative again, where last time they voted Conservative. They had to make sure that never happened again. That Conservative MP for Bury, the one in Bury and the one in Middleton, they got absolute nothing but shit. They get blasted and held on the hook for the actions of the central government constantly. There was just non-stop harassment campaigns against those guys, as being from Labour Party, not supporters, the friends and family of the Labour Party, the brothers and sisters of members of the Labour Party, on the warpath against these guys constantly, with the absolutely fucking rancid, stupid and ignorant local media back in the play. Fucking ugly to see politics round here. And it's like that big tent bandwagon that's emerging with different, slightly, I'd say different visions, right? Reform's not got the same vision as Rupert Lowe's gang and Ben Habib's lot, Advance. I don't know anyone who's in that. I don't know anyone who actually, truth be told, personally, I don't know anyone who's in any of these. I mean, local reform guys, I've not reached out to because I don't feel I need to. They can come and find me. But it's like in their minds, I'm still allied to Mr. Galloway. And it's like, well, no, but I'm quite loyal to the Rochdale lads who were on the council, who were part of his party. It's like I don't stop having sort of made friends with them. I don't abandon them because I've fallen out with George or George has fallen out with me. But it's like there always comes a point, and this is a thing where the local eyes and ears like me, they don't fucking need me now. They don't feel the need to keep me in the loop. They think they know better anyway, so he's had that, hasn't he, Roger? When the political heat was on and he was useful, all time in the world for him. Now it comes to the crunch of the actual doing of things like the rape gang inquiry, completely sidelined. Once it was off the ground, sidelined. He sits outside it now as a supporter, and he thanks Rupert Lowe for doing it and taking what he had to say in the first instance on board. But the ins and outs of it, gone, sidelined. Promised to take a kind of senior role in it, and that eventually becomes no role whatsoever. It's like that mirrors his sort of interaction with Rupert Lowe mirrors my interaction with Mr. Galloway. Promises made. It's like you get to a certain one where it's a matter of, okay, it's like, yes, we'll be your sort of local sources. We'll operate for your local. We'll do a bit of thinking on your behalf. Work some shit out for you. But there'll come a line where you don't like what we have to say, and then that's it, gone. On just one thing. Oh no, that's unseemly. It's like they don't trust us. No working class sort of guys. There's no working class people in politics. None. And they don't trust us. They think we're means to an end. And working class people in this country are never going to be allowed anywhere near power. The ones who've done it have done it not done it really under their own merit, though, have they? They've all done it as parts, Marxist dicks, Union, Labour Party, collectivist. They've all done it through that path, and they're the only ones who've done it. Nobody's ever been allowed to, no working class sort of thinking. Nah, never been allowed into politics in this country. Prove me wrong. There's no one truly. It's like you'll get a few Conservative MPs who'll talk about the, working class roots, and they weren't. They're not from council estates. They don't have parents who dug up the road for a living. None of them. There's none. None. Not allowed in. You might find some of them who learned all the wrong lessons from life, get themselves into a Labour Party local. No, they just all do that. It's just a pathway. People of nous don't get to become politicians if they're not from the right background, and that's, you see, rather I'd become someone who was, you know, an advisor to many rogues and a den of thieves, and I can outmaneuver and outthink any politician because I can think of things that he wouldn't think of. I have a capacity to always break the rules when he always has to obey them. I'd put it to the government that, and the political class, as to say, it's people like me who run you ragged and get rich as criminals. People like me run you ragged every day by getting away with doing things that you would not believe to be true. So if someone told you it were going on, you'd be like, nah, you're listening to right-wing propaganda. I would deliberately exploit that system. And they have been doing for years. And it's obvious to those of us who are from the wrong side of the fence, you know what I mean? The untouchables, us guys at the bottom, we can tell you a truth and it be a matter of no. It's like, all right, just keep getting run round in circles off the criminal scamming elements of the world forever if you like. Just you're asking Mr. Taxpayer to foot the bill for all of this fucking thievery. All of it, one way or another. So as long as you do nothing and we pay for it, it just carries on, doesn't it? And everyone's getting paid. And, you know, the people whose lives end up in the fucking grind, well, they're no one. So it doesn't happen to anyone we know. I'm not saying what this country's become. I'm saying what it's always fucking been. You just pretend it isn't. You got a choice, haven't you? You either be the arse that gets kicked or join the Labour Party and get to be the kicker. Isn't it just to get to be a bully of your own fucking kind, to sell them out, to win the popularity contest and then sell out your own fucking kind? That's what it is to be a Labour politician. It's the only game in town. I want to change the world, or even better than that, I want to learn about politics. Oh, wouldn't it? I become an MP, I'll learn all about it. It's like unworthy people pushed to the front, and a bright smile and a bit of confidence and enthusiasm. It's all you need to sell a concept. So you've been sold whores and actors as politicians for 30 years, and you wonder why they only talk about the basic things that they can just throw. Wokeism. It's like, you've gone away and got a degree in being an obnoxious cunt. And you paid for this?